All right, sweet. So now let's talk about how to analyze, optimize, and scale your campaigns to $90,000 a day, right? So the whole goal is to find a winning video and then you can scale it up. The whole scaling process is actually pretty simple with Google. Once you really find a winner that performs, that's when you're like pretty much set and you can just start scaling it. So the method we use is the bump method, right? And this is the best method. So what we do is we increase the budget in small steps throughout the day, and you can increase it many times in a day, 5 times, 10 times, pretty much as much as you can, right? As long as the ROI is stable. So how this method works is we analyze the data, and if the ROI is satisfactory, then we review we want to bump the budget, right? So you want to allow time for the budget increase to take effect, and then you want to basically repeat that. So what you want to do is, if you have your ad spend at like $200 and it's getting profitable ROI, you can increase the budget, and as the spend happens and the ROI consistently sticks, you just keep doing that. So you're basically riding the ROI until the ROI dips, and then you can leave it for a day and monitor it. So if your budget is under $1,500, you only want to increase the budget by a maximum of 50% of the budget at a time. So let's say if your budget's $200, which I test all my ads at $200. So if it's at $200 and it's getting like profitable ROI, I'll then bump it to $300 and so on. So how often to increase? So first you have to see if the ROI will maintain at each budget increase, and bigger budgets react faster and therefore can be scaled faster. But if the budget is under $1,000, likely you'll have to wait for a few hours for the sales to catch up, just because you have less ad spend going, within a certain time. So this example here is, if your current budget is at 150 and your ROI is 80% for the day, what you want to do is increase that budget to 250, which is a 50% increase. Then you want to wait a few hours and recheck the ROI, and if the ROI is good, then you bump the budget again. And so you're basically just like sort of surfing it, right? So if you bump your budget and it spends and it's 100% ROI, then you can bump the budget and it spends. And then as you start getting to like $1,000, $2,000, $4,000, $5,000, you can literally just keep scaling it like that. So I've taken ads from $200 a day up to $5,000 to $10,000 a day in spend in a single day, and also like 2 days. So but that really just really just shows that you really need to just find a winning video, and if you find a winning video, you can pretty much scale it to like massive days. So that's why the emphasis should be always on finding a video that performs the best. And another thing as well is, while you're scaling it like this, if the ROI does drop, since we are testing sort of 3 ads and finding a winner, you can always be putting more ads in to the evolution method while you're scaling. So if you have an ad that's performing and then it's maybe at 50% ROI as you're increasing it, you can duplicate it and then throw in another hook or another opening scene, and then you can basically be testing while you're scaling, and you can find multiple winners as you're scaling up. So the benefit of this is the campaign doesn't re-enter the learning phase, and that means your campaign can just run pretty much way smoother as you're scaling, and it allows you to really increase the budget really fast. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole bump method. And again, it's nothing crazy, because the whole thing relies on the actual YouTube video. So if the YouTube video is really good through, following the key script components, following through the evolution method and finding a winner, that's where you're actually going to find something that pops and that you can really scale. But if you try and scale something that isn't going to be performing or isn't actually a winner, then you're going to struggle with ROI issues and so on. But yeah, so that is pretty much the method. And again, it's nothing crazy like Facebook or anything, but with this method and this system, that's how we're able to hit like such massive days, by just really focusing on broad audiences, focusing on the opening scene and the hook, making sure the script and the video as a whole is really good, and then pretty much just scaling it like that. Something I'll also mention is Google basically recommends budgets, and I never do the recommended budget. Or I have sometimes and it has performed, but if you've got like a $5,000 budget, Google recommends you to just increase it to like 10 or 20, and then if you increase it to 20, it will say increase it to 50. So I never really go by any of Google's recommendations. I always just sort of scale it